Hey guys, so I think I finally cracked a code on something as Halloween can get. By the way, happy Halloween everybody. Halloween is by far my favorite holiday ever. I don't know why, I'm not much of a sweets person, I don't do candy very often, but Halloween is one of my favorite holidays ever. I think it's because that's whenever everybody throws parties and we get to go and sit around a bonfire and just enjoy the smell of the colorful leaves, and it's just a really relaxing time. Originally I was going to record this video in a costume, but I never got around to putting together a costume, so I figured a Jack Skellington jumper was about as good as it can get. Now, on to the subject at hand. As you guys read in the title, I think I finally cracked the code on Five Nights at Freddy's. Cracked the code? Is that really what I want to say? Probably not. That is what I'm going to say. So originally everybody was wondering, what's the big deal about Five Nights at Freddy's? Is it all that great? Is it really that great? Blah, blah, blah. Why is it exploding? Well, I think I figured it out. Now see, horror video games are probably one of my favorite genre of video games. I like being scared, but I don't like being scared IRL. When you play a video game, there's at least that escape. Whenever you turn off the game, you feel that sense of safety. But put me in a haunted house like the Factory of Terror, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm too claustrophobic for it. Anyway, I think that's actually the reason why anybody ever plays horror games. But now the question arises, what makes this video game so different from any other horror game out there? See, now this is actually going to go up against everybody trolling people about it's all just jump scares. Don't pretend to be scared. It's not really that scary. Well, for all you trolls saying that, I'm sure you guys have been to a haunted house. And what do you get when you go into a haunted house? Jump scares. You pay to go through this abandoned building that nobody's ever been in for the entire beginning of the year, and you pay to get in here just to have people jump out and scare the bejeebers out of you. That is what you pay for, so why wouldn't you do the same thing for a video game? Now see, I understand there are plenty of other games out there that probably have the jump scare mechanism to it, but what makes Five Nights at Freddy's so different? I personally think that it is the sense of security. If you compare it to other horror games, the first couple that pop into my head are ghost games and alien games and zombie games, right? And I know it's hard to compare it because there's no other real video game out there that actually has the same mechanics as Five Nights at Freddy. But in all the same, I still think I figured something out here. Now I'm going to compare it to one of my favorite horror games called Fatal Frame. I watched it when I was 7 years old and lost sleep for about a month. Yeah. But now the reason I'm comparing it to Fatal Frame is because Fatal Frame kind of has a similar setup. Whilst Fatal Frame is a more widespread open map kind of world where you roam around and you practically walk yourself into these situations, it still has kind of the same setup with the jump scares and the loud noises. Believe it or not, guys, that is where most of the horror comes from. Now in Fatal Frame, it's all ghosts that you're running from. Everybody's heard of ghosts, and whether you believe in them or not, people have seen pictures or have believed to have seen one IRL, right? Well, that means that there's no real escape from it. No matter what, there's always that fear that a ghost can be there. At least that's what I believe. But when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's, there's a sense of security because it takes place in this old Fazbear restaurant where they stay. They never leave the restaurant. So when you're home alone, you have no fear of these animatronics coming up at you and going Sorry. I had to. It was a Five Nights at Freddy's video. You can't click on a Five Nights at Freddy's video and not expect at least one jump scare. Anyway, back on track. Up until the fourth one, all of these video games took place in specific areas. It all took place in the same building. Therefore, there was always that sense of escape. Even the first one had that sense of security when you closed the door. Does it make it any less scarier when you're playing it? No. But the aftermath isn't as scary as any other horror game out there. I think that's why everybody likes Five Nights at Freddy's so much. You watch a video on it, you play it yourself, whatever. You get the jump scares, you get the adrenaline rush of being afraid, of being scared. Especially in this game with the built-up anticipation while you sit there and wait for them to just jump out at you. But once you turn off that video game, that is the end of it. You don't see any more of it. That just leads me to believe that people like this game because there's the fear, because it is a horror game. People play horror games to be afraid. And then afterwards, there's the sense of security. I think that's why everybody really likes Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know, maybe I'm just stating my opinion on the internet again. But you know what? I think I might have cracked the code here. Now, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube and played the games on my own, so I feel like I actually have an idea of what I'm talking about. But it has actually been a while since I've seen a decent horror game. I don't actually follow Game Informer to know if there are any new decent horror games coming out, but out of all the horror games that I've seen and watched and played myself, in comparison, Five Nights at Freddy's is one of the best. Still not over top of Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame is always going to be my favorite horror game. Anyway, guys, I honestly want to know if you guys agree and or disagree with me. Knock yourself out and fill up the comment section below. I'm not even kidding. If you guys think that you guys have another theory behind it, go ahead and post that long paragraph of your theory behind the rampage of Five Nights at Freddy's. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to check out my last video or subscribe to be told when I make a new video, click the annotations on the screen. For you mobile users, the links will be in the description below, as will any of the links to any other social media for you to become a proper stalker. You can click those links now because this video is over. Bye, guys! People are probably going to assume that I'm posting this just for the views. I've had this planned for months now. I'm still gonna post it anyway.